Back here with you folks once again. This is episode 2 of season 2 of the Ted Lasso Show, and also of Two Nations Under Ted Lasso Podcast. So we're glad you're with us. Thanks much. Again, as we said as we opened episode 1 of season 2, we hope you enjoyed the first season. We took a little bit of a break in between. We're not going to tell you how much because we haven't took it yet. This is all some weird time traveling we're doing right now.
You can tell.
Okay, hair changes, shirt changes, facial hair, attitudes. I'm telling you, things just change, man. But it's okay. If we never told you, you wouldn't have known the difference. But we like to peel back the curtain. We're curtain peelers here on the show. That's what we're doing. So welcome back to the show. I'm Tom, joined, of course, by Joe Higgens, J. Luft. We appreciate you guys being with us. Means loads to us. We got to thank you guys again for supporting the show. Thanks for sharing the show on your socials. We appreciate that very much. Thanks for following the podcast on all the major platforms. We appreciate that as well. And we're going to get into it here today. Gentlemen, we're going into episode 2, season 2. Again, we're continuing the story of Ted Lasso. Joe, what do you think going into this episode from season 1? Thoughts on going into this episode?
This is just like season 2 now is we've had episode 1. Everything is up for grabs at this point. And season 2, again, just builds on stuff. This is what Ted Lasso does really well, is it sets these little nuggets and just builds and builds upon them. And season 2 is one of the ones where it all kind of explodes out, like the roots from a tree, like, or something that grows upwards. A flower. There we go. But yeah, this is where, like, as we said in series 1, like the first couple of episodes are all laying the grounds, but with episode 1 is it tells you where everyone's at. So everyone that's in Richmond is working towards getting Richmond back up. Roy is floundering in his career. He's coaching a under 8-year-old girls football team. Like, episode 2 tells us now where everyone is going forward. And I say this every episode, but it's a great episode.
It is a great episode. Jay, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think to kind of like sort of add on to what Joe said, there's a lot of sort of world building in this episode, a lot of setting the scene for things that are going to come later on. And some of it can just be like a throwaway line, and then a lot of it some of the other stuff can be like a bigger thing that happens. But this is a very good episode to kind of move things forward as the season's going to go on.
I'd say this one is world building. This fills in a lot of little blanks that you didn't know you wanted, but now you do know them. It makes it a lot more interesting, yeah.
For sure. And this does a lot for Roy in this episode as well. This is very much a Roy episode. So
we find out some facts about Roy I didn't know I needed to know.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, let's get into it, kids. Let's do the thing. This is, as we said before, episode 2, season 2 of Ted Lasso. This episode is called Lavender. Original air date July 23rd, 2021. Directed by Declan Lowney. And story by Leann Bowen, we will recall, is the teacher's name from episode 1. So we get that a lot of the creative folks behind the scenes have their names dispersed throughout the show, which is kind of cool. 12 episodes in season 2, and it's off to the races. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, we saw Danny struggle with an unfortunate accident that killed the team mascot. The team responds by bringing in a sports psychologist who not only helps Danny Rojas get back to form, but also helps other players as well, though Ted doesn't seem too thrilled with her presence. Rebecca got herself back on the dating scene again, only to realize that until she's brave enough to truly let someone in, she'll never have the happiness that she deserves. In the meantime, we began to see something happening with Nate, which may or may not have implications later on. And there's the scene set for you kids. We open on a talk show, and Jamie Tart, played by the great Phil Dunster, who I don't think we mentioned his actual name in the first episode here, is the guest. Philip Schofield is a real-life presenter who works on the show this morning, along with co-presenter Holly Willoughby, and they both appear here. I don't know anything about these folks, but they're great. They're just doing what they always do, I assume. But what?
Jay, fill it, man.
Are they not great?
Well, Holly's all right.
Nothing bad about Holly.
Holly's all right.
Okay. Cover for him, so.
Yeah, that's true. Schofield recently got fired for basically courting underage boys. Yeah, not a nice man. Apparently, apparently it's something that had been going on for about 30 years as well. Like it kind of rocked like British media recently.
Wow.
He was found to have been dating an underage boy. I don't want to use the word groomed, but groomed him. And then when it all came out, he was like, no, it turns out that I am gay. And his wife and children were like, hang on, what?
Because that's the appropriate response to that question.
Oh, well, I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
No, shock, right? Yeah.
And then it turns out like this ran a lot deeper. But Philip Schofield has been like a stalwart of British light entertainment for many years. But before my life.
Before like he like this all came out, he was like widely regarded as like a national treasure, wasn't he?
He did kids TV when I was growing up in Broom Cupboard. He did Saturday morning TV. He's done light entertainment stuff like with quiz shows and that. Like it all
started going downhill when he skipped the queue to see the Queen's coffin, though, didn't it? Country turned on him then, and then this come out and was like, "Oh, fuck you, Schofield."
Yeah.
So how recently was this?
The Queen died, mate.
That's when it started.
The scandal, Kate. Well,
the
when
scandal.
The Queen died, he skipped the queue. Scandal. It was only in the
stuff about him being gay was before the Queen, I think.
I think that came out before the Queen.
Yeah,
but
and
the
then
actual scandal was
because there was. I don't know if you remember, but there was like 7-mile-long queues to walk past the coffin of a dead person who was done nothing to earn her position in life other than being born out of a particularly special fanny.
Yeah.
And they cut in line to go and see that.
Yeah.
But like we're all very solemn and stuff, and then people were like, "Hang on, my Uncle Keith died in that queue," and no one walked. Well, everyone stepped over him. No one gave him a second look, and that's where like, the backlash started.
Days, wasn't it? Like,
mate, it was a special kind of British madness that only we can do.
Yeah.
Apart from the band madness.
And then the controversy was probably about 3 months ago.
But yeah, then all this came to light about him being because he sort of like he got him jobs. That was the thing. He got him jobs like as a runner and stuff, and like had him on the side. It's all dark and seedy, and I don't know the full thing, but it's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. We begin the show on a horrendously dark and evil note here.
I was going to say, like, that's not
I had no idea.
An episode, yeah. Nobody would, because he's entirely British.
When Jamie Tart's the most redeemable person in that scene, you know it's bad.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this back around, Jay. I appreciate that. Yeah, Oh, God, that gives you the creeps. They show a clip from Lust Conquers All, to your point about Jamie. And it's the whole show looks realistic because dating reality shows are trash. Reality TV is garbage.
Turns out they're really easy to fake. I was kind of hoping when I was watching this that someone would come in on a zip line.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. What's waiting for your home?
Doesn't happen.
I love when they refer to him as a loser from the show, and he goes, "Not a loser, the loser."
Loser.
Easy, Philip. I'm not just Said Holly says, "Well,
Jamie's fantastic."
Something
She
about
says-
I'll tell him I'll marry him. I'll shag him in the hot tub, and then I don't know, something
Yeah.
like that.
I like when they mention why he left City, and he goes, "Oh well, it was because of George Harrison dying." Jamie,
Yeah.
you are aware George Harrison died 20 years ago. Yeah, but I only just found out last week.
Oh man, that's great. Phillips says, "What's next for Jamie Tartt?" He says, "Don't know. Back to Man City if Pep will have me. That is." It's funny you mention that because we've got a clip. You might find this quite interesting. And they cue it up, and they're talking to him, and he says, he says, "Any thoughts on Jamie Tartt and his future with Man City?" And the only thing the guy could come back with is, "My wife and I thought he and Amy were meant for each other, but no, he won't be coming back to Man City. We wish him luck." And just like that, and they cut back to Jamie, who's stunned.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he wouldn't find out this way, Jay, right? Or would he?
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say British gotcha television is kind of like that. Yeah.
There's even been like stuff where like footballers have found out like they're getting transferred like on TV and stuff like that, or like during a training session. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, you need to go to like move to this club. So yeah, it's stranger things have definitely happened.
Interesting.
And as Joe said, British gotcha TV is very much a thing.
Yeah, that's not pleasant. I love how they throw it to commercial. They throw it to commercial with, "Have scientists really discovered a low-fat custard that doesn't make you sad? Sounds too good to be true." Freaking love that.
Like you're not aware of This Morning as a program. They have a lot of these. That's not an advert. That's like to the next section where they'll have some other like C-list celebrity come in and be like, "I've invented a custard that is made entirely." It's. I'm trying to think of an American like Regis and Kathy Lee thing of
or
just
like Oprah maybe.
Yeah, it is that sort of thing of just
that kind of
it's just white noise that's there. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was funny. I liked it.
Yeah. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good line.
It's very accurate.
Also, Holly Willoughby is culpable.
Very accurate, yeah. This next moment is very off-putting. And this is the deepest that we get with Jamie besides season 1 when he's in the locker room getting yelled at by his dad and he's on the bus with the army man and Ted's note. It's the third, I think, deepest moment we've gotten with him at all beyond the surface, I'm all about myself kind of thing. But he's outside, he's posing for pics, signing autographs, signs a ball. He's very gracious, he's polite, he's nice to the kid. Then he tells the limo's driver he's going to walk. And I'm thinking they're playing music and it's all sort of in the background. And man, what a great little moment for this character. Like, I don't know. It's again, we always talk about sowing the seeds and paying it off at a later date. But man, I didn't see this little moment coming at all.
It feels like.
Go on.
I was going to say it feels like him finding out like about City not taking him back. It's kind of like his coming down to earth moment, and it's like he's realized, oh shit, I need to go like think about everything.
Possibly realizing that City didn't call him back.
Yeah, in Jamie's head, the world revolves around Jamie. Jamie thought that him leaving City, they'll take him back. And obviously that's not the case.
Not to get like proper psychological into it, but do you think Jamie's thing is like the id, the ego, and the superego of like him discovering that there is himself, there is how other people view him, and then there is how he's viewed by other people.
Yeah,
like that's his journey.
Yeah,
because if it is, I want 8 points, please, Tom, on the board for Joe's like clever thinking moment. Because it is, because like at that point when he's on that couch, like he's doing Jamie stuff. He's just like, it's me, it's all about me. But this bit when he walks out, he realizes that, oh, without the adoration of people, I'm nobody.
Yeah, I think as well, a lot of it,
It's
obviously, because we spoke about it like in the last episode of season 1, where like he's this egotistical and he's very, very self-assured, and then as soon as his dad comes in and he's screaming at him, he's a scared little boy.
That's horrible.
And
Yeah.
it's the same sort of thing. Like he puts this kind of like almost like a persona on for the cameras and for when people can see him, but when there's like the quiet moments where it's just him and his thoughts, he's a lot more insecure. And
Question
a lot
though,
more...
if they hadn't have shown him that clip of him like going, "You're never going back to sea," would he have been so humble as he walked out? Or would he have just been like, "I'm Jamie Tarr, I don't need to deal with you shit munchers"?
I don't know, because they kind of obviously they asked him what he was doing next anyway, and he was very like it. He did that. He said the whole, "Oh yeah, if Pep will take me back," but he still seemed a little bit kind of, "Oh God, what if he doesn't?" And then they showed him that clip, and it was like, "Oh, right." So I think he would have still been slightly humbled, but not as much as he was by seeing that clip.
Mm.
And
It's a great moment.
It was like the catalyst for Jamie realizing, "Oh God, what have I done?"
Yeah, it's a great moment. It's a moment that highly unexpected. I didn't see it coming. I mean, but it's awesome. Again, the show cares enough to give these moments of creating character and of diving in and going deeper than just dialogue. I love that stuff, man. That's character development right there. It's really nice. We go to Ted's office. We realize Beard has slept there overnight, and he says, "Jay and I got a fight last night. She threw my keys in the river." Ted says, "Hey, you two are like Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner, you know? Or Frank Sinatra and Mia Farrow, or Frank and..." Actually, you know what? I'm starting to realize that old Blue Eyes might have skewed Mercurial, which is an interesting line.
One of my favorite Ted lines. Yeah.
Great.
Frank Sinatra, piece of shit. I believe my one good Frank Sinatra story is that he allegedly paid one of his bodyguards to go upstairs, break up with his girlfriend, and throw a drink in her face. Like, he was like, "Make sure you throw a drink in her face." So, Blue Eyes, piece of shit.
Wow.
Moving on.
Yeah, man.
But, oh man, he could sing My Way.
Oh, don't give him credit now. You just called him a piece of shit.
Oh, no.
The Limp Bizkit song.
The Limp Bizkit song. The Robbie Williams version.
There's a great Don Rickles story that he used to tell about that they were, he ran with those guys and they were all friends and stuff, and that he was telling Frank that he was bringing a girl to this restaurant. He practically begged him. He said, "Please, would you come up during dinner at some point and come up to me and just call me by name? And I want her to be impressed. I'm trying to impress this girl. I think I got a chance with her." He's like, "Anything for you. I'll do it. No problem." So the restaurant happens, dinner happens, and during dinner, Frank comes up and he goes, "Don, how are you, my friend?" Goes to shake his hand. Don goes, "Jesus Christ, Frank, I'm at dinner. What's wrong with you? Can't you see it? I'll talk to you later. Give me, And it is great. Frank just like white as a ghost, like, what's this? And it was, what a great story, man. I love that.
Man, imagine getting like trolled by Don fucking Rickles.
I know, right? What's cool here in this scene is that Ted doesn't he ask Beard what time it is, and Beard tells him and he goes running out? I think because we know he's going to end up on the mower later. That's what he's doing here at the end of this scene.
Oh, is that what that is for?
Yeah.
He's late. Oh, okay.
Yes.
That makes more
Says,
sense.
"What time is it?" Oh,
I thought it was just Ted doing a Ted thing of just sitting on the back of a lawnmower.
Yeah. I put that together later. Yeah.
It makes sense now.
I love how manic he looks on that lawnmower as well.
Oh,
And
it's so
the fact
good.
that he thought the fastest mode of transportation is lawnmower.
Nate comes in, throws a towel to Beard. This part is the whole towel thing, and how Will watched the towels is ridiculous. But at least now Nate's not as hard edged as he was in the first episode, because he was not vicious, but cruel to some degree. But at least this has got some comic relief to it, like, because he throws the towel to Beard and he says, "What does this smell like?" And he says, "Parisian bedroom." And then he calls Nate. He calls Will in. He goes in. He says, "Can I have a word with you?" And he walks out and shuts every door between him and Ted's office, forcing Will to open the door every time.
Again, power move. It's like one of those weird things that
True.
shitty managers do to you. Like,
Right.
It's all the power. At this point, this is a power trip for Nate. He's got someone to belittle, someone beneath him. He can't belittle the players. So who's he got left? The person that was in his position. And this is why I fucking hate Nate. Right?
Yeah.
Because that was him. If it wasn't for Ted, he would still be there.
He should be able to relate to it.
He should be able to relate to it, but he doesn't because they've given him a whistle and he thinks he's better than that now. And this is the thing that really upsets me about it, is that he forgets where he came from so quickly. Like Noel Gallagher.
Ooh. Man, we're throwing all kinds of shade here today, buddy. I'm telling you.
Literally, I was racking my brains and going, someone from Manchester who got big. Yeah, that'll do.
Morrissey.
Oh, no, I'm not getting into the whole Morrissey soup, mate. Yeah.
Oh, man. We're bringing the heat here today, buddy. I'm going to tell you right now. This is no joke.
Noel Edmonds, Noel Gallagher has never come out as like a fucking weird white supremacist.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's just Nate. It's just Nate being a bully.
It is. He asked him.
Even when he calls Will on it, goes, "This could disrupt the way the players play," and Beard's like, "The way the towels smell after they've had a shower."
After they've had a shower.
Yeah.
And again, it's the whole thing with Beard where he sees the whole thing with Nate coming, and because Ted's kind of like, let's give him a chance to figure it out himself. They never step in and go.
Those paths never cross. Yeah, sadly, because it could have been shut down.
Does it make you think that maybe this Wonderkin thing that comes along later? Do you think maybe that Nate has spent a little too much time thinking about this game? You know what I mean? Like that observation about, don't throw off a player's headspace. I'm thinking, I kind of get that. But to Beard's point, but the towels they use after the game's over?
They won't
maybe
know. They stink. They've been running around for 90 minutes. Like
they spent too much.
The fact that it smells slightly of lavender, in theory, from what I've read on the internet, would help them sleep better.
Oh. Yeah.
Lavender is good for sleeping. Yeah.
It's like he's nitpicking just because it's, as Joe said, it's like his kind of like power over somebody.
It's someone he can punch down on, and there's nobody else he can punch down on.
Also, as a coach, because that's all Nate is, he's just a coach. It shouldn't be as concerned what the kit man does.
No, but he was the kit man before, so I can.
Get
but that aspect of it, but
he should be getting told off anyway for overreaching into a department that's not his.
Yeah, it's not your concern. Yeah,
crazy. The moment gets deflated pretty easily because Nathan observes. He goes, "Did you sleep here?" And Coach Beard says, "Perchance to dream here." So Beard had a nice little throwaway Ted line there, which was really nice.
Shared brain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Roy has given Keeley. Roy has driven Keeley to the dog track. She offers him for him to come inside and say hello. He says no in typical Roy fashion, as only he could, right? And Roy says, "I'm going to get the girls to run a 4-4-2 diamond formation because that little Cockarunda girl is a fucking beast in defense." That little girl's great, man. She continues to impress.
Then I was going to cook. Old, mate. They're all just chasing the ball around the field. I'm going to watch your niece or whatever play football at a school thing. It's just carnage. It's just children chasing a ball around for the 15 minutes that the matches last.
It is.
But I can just imagine Roy screaming on the sideline, defense. It's beautiful.
We put my son in T-ball, and he was really little. And T-ball is precursor to actual Little League baseball. So none of these kids have any idea what's going on. So they put a tee up, put the ball up, and they let him swing. And of course, 95% of the kids run to third base instead of first base. So they no, over here. So they got to get him to run to first base.
For creativity. Like,
I'm just saying.
You can run straight to third off a hit. Get to third, like.
But it's funny because, you know, my kid's out and we're watching the game and someone actually hits a ball that goes anywhere. And my kid is too busy playing with dirt. So the ball's just, the ball is sailing by these players who are either playing with dirt or talking to each other. And I'm like,
I think it's about 12 or so when you realize that like sports are a thing. Otherwise, I'm just like, I'm in a field. Yeah, I'm just
it's out here.
Ooh, I'm just gonna lie down and look at the clouds and draw.
There's a flower. Yeah. I'll pick a flower. Yeah. It's great.
Sports are a man-made construction, and that's why they're awful.
More shade being thrown. It's great.
Apart from bowls.
That was shade on mass. That was not specific shade. Roy, all right, so he also tells her, he says, then I was going to cook you cordon bleu for dinner tonight. Nigella says, if you butterfly the chicken, it'll be more moist. Keeley says, I don't know what does it more for me. You mentioning Nigella or using the word moist?
Right. In all of my years as a single man, I've used the word moist precisely to 6 women. None of them have ever found it attractive.
No.
You don't know Keeley, though, so, you know.
I just think she likes the fact that Roy has...
That Roy's domesticated himself.
Is agreed to cook for her. He has cordon bleu level cooking skills. And he's prepared to say the word moist in front of a lady.
Mm. That's fair.
I mean, probably got that from Nigella, to be fair.
But I also think that this is how Roy's filling up his time now, because he's bored and he's learning how to cook and he's learning how to do all of this stuff. I imagine Roy could weave you a wicker basket out of willow, because he's got nothing going on. Like he's filling his time up with YouTube videos of stuff. Thankfully, he didn't fall down like a white supremacy hole.
He's like a retiree who's got nothing going for them, but like he's in his 30s.
Yeah. Yes, he's got another 40, 50 years of his life ahead of him, and he's like, I've got nothing. How much do those things cost to burn wood? Burning the wood,
that's a callback to the other episode, by the way.
Yeah, you see, I keep this in there.
That's our callback.
The man needs a hobby. The man needs a hobby. Like cooking is a great hobby because you can have some delicious food if you learn how to cook. That's how I live my life. But it's just Roy, and I imagine Roy just like trying to make like a souffle, just yelling at it in the oven, rise! Like,
oh, that's good. Like, I like that.
That's all he's got. It's that thing with Roy. That's why Roy is my favorite character in it, because all he's known all his life is football. Now he has no football. He's tried to fill it in, but I imagine the school team trains once a week, like on a Friday after school if you've got a permission slip. And so the rest of the week is his, and he's got nothing to do. Keeley's off doing Keeley stuff. Yeah. And he's just at home. And so, he's going to learn how to whittle. He's going to learn how to, make candy floss shapes out of, he's got nothing to do. He's a bored man.
There's an alternative story here where Roy opens a restaurant instead of Sam.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's just called fuck.
It's just kitchen nightmares.
Or
no.
That's the marquee.
Roy would be fastidious about hygiene. Why is there no dots on this orange? Yeah,
I meant like as in he'd be Ramsey.
Oh yeah.
Also former footballer, so there is that.
This is the bit with Ted on the mower, and Keeley says, "What's Ted doing?" And Roy says, "He's probably homesick. Closest thing he can find to a Dodge Ram." And this is what he was excited to do. Keeley gets out. Ted walks up, says, "Hey to Roy. Hey, Roy," and then speeds off like Roy squeals tires to get out of the freaking parking lot. It's great. She says, sorry, he's in a big rush. He says, that's okay. Mime is money. I'm not sure what that is. What is that reference? Mime is money.
Oh, I assumed it was just because, like, didn't Roy sort of wave at him and then leave, like, immediately, as like
I don't
a
know.
mime would do?
I don't know. Is that what a mime would do?
That's what I assumed that was about.
Mime would jump into his SUV and drive away? I don't know. I really didn't get that reference for real. Yeah.
It went over my head, to be honest.
Yeah. He tells Keeley, he said, the mower is good for my sciatica. It helps my butt. And
I love that Ted looks like an absolute lunatic on this lawnmower, though.
I know,
like,
right?
Just sat at the back with his aviators on, with his big grin on his face.
Yeah. And we see Sharon ride up on her. Is it a scooter? What? I can't remember. What is it?
It's a collectible bike.
It's a collectible bike. And
There
it's one of my favorite Ted and Keeley moments. Where she just collected, he goes, "Oh my god, it's a transformer!"
It's Transformer. Says Higgens hired her,
but Keeley goes, like they're buying into each other's bits, and that's why I think Ted and Keeley work really well together, because they allow each other to exist in their own weird pretend world.
They got a lot of chemistry. Yeah. She tells him that Higgens hired her for the rest of the season. And what's funny is this bit in the office when they go back in, this is what Jay alluded to in episode 1 here, is about, Ted obviously having a bit of an issue with the whole idea of therapy and the idea of counseling and whatnot. And he goes in and he says, hey, Higgens, did you hire Dr. Sharon without running it by me first? And he says, yes, I thought it couldn't hurt, but I should have asked you first, Ted. You're absolutely right. He goes, no, I'm dead wrong. I mean, heck, you're director of football operations. You got to be able to make your own decisions. Still, you should have texted me first. And Higgens says, that's 100% true. He goes, no, it's 1,000% false. And he slams the table. He says, I mean, you're a busy man. Whatever path you think is best is going to be best. Still, next time you have your plans, I want you to run them by me first, okay? Higgens looks at Beard, and Beard's like, shakes his head, no. And Higgens goes, no, I will not. He goes, good. Why should you? I ain't your daddy. It's awesome. That whole exchange.
Ted having that kind of like existential crisis is like
in real time.
Yes.
And it just exposes like how insecure he is about the whole idea of having a therapist that close to him, because he knows at some point he's going to have to talk to about himself.
There you go. Yep.
That's the one thing he doesn't want to do. But at the same time, Ted being Ted, he's so welcoming to everyone. He wants everyone to like fit into his like world, that he's not going to be able to help himself. He's not going to be able to just ignore it, because it's Ted, and he wants to be friends with everyone at the club.
That's really, really good pull. Yeah, really good pull. Ted stops in the middle of speaking and says, why does it smell like my Nana's house in here? And then Nate immediately rolls back in his chair, like for comic effect, immediately pushes back and says, goes up to him and says, well, do you hear this shit? Like, he's all intense. It's the best thing ever.
He's been sitting on that, though, Nate, and he's been sitting on it, waiting for Ted. And he's put Lavender, the monster, in the
Oh, man.
And you're like, okay, it ain't the end of the world, is it?
It's great. I love that moment when he says, where do you hear this shit? It's awesome. We go to Jamie's manager, or his agent, Yuri, played by Raffaello Degratola, I suppose. I don't want to butcher that. He says, and Jamie's surprised. He says, what do you mean no one wants me? I'm Jamie fucking Tart. And Yuri says, you're too much of a liability. You act like an asshole and disappear on Man City. Then you act like an asshole and cheat on Amy with Denise by having jacuzzi sex. They can't get over this reality show business.
Mate, it counts for a lot in British culture, apparently.
Yep.
Oh.
My wife is currently watching Celebrities Go Dating. And it is literally people of the Jamie Tart level. Who are like pseudo famous. There's a lass on it who is Kate Moss's sister. or half sister, that is enough to qualify you as a celebrity. She's got a tattoo under her eye that says like, no, peanuts or something. I don't fucking know what it says. I never squinted long enough to look at it, to be honest. But that's the level we're dealing with. Like Jamie's now on that level of people that open
Like a
up nightclubs. Yeah, like people who came forth on Big Brother 7. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what he's done to himself through his own arrogance.
I mean, next you'll be telling me Kate Moss's brother's on that show. You know, Pete Moss. Nothing.
Yeah, it's fine.
I make a Ted joke and no one likes it. Fine, it's fine. I don't care.
I got it. I thought you were going to go with like Moss on the north side of a tree. So
no, mine was way funnier than that. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Mine's more of a survival tip. Yeah, so you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you see.
Fair enough.
Been watching a lot of Alone recently, and this could help if you were ever voluntarily stranded in the Canadian wilderness. Voluntarily.
This is really why.
To be fair.
Yeah. See, this is why you come to this program. You get jokes about Kate Moss's brother, and also stuff that could save your life.
Don't get me sidetracked talking about Alone. I could talk about it for a while.
Oh, mate. Yes. Oh, GCW weekend is going to be fun.
This is not
going to be fun.
This is not the Alone podcast. No, we're not doing a 2-in-1 here.
We'll do our own special one with hookers and blackjack.
Hookers, blackjack, and booze. That's what every kid dreams of, isn't it? My God.
Stop saying it in a Ted voice.
Yeah, that's important. Don't forget that. Jamie says, what about a team in Spain or Germany? And the manager nonchalantly picks up his phone. Hello, Real Madrid. Do you want Jamie Tart? No, okay, thank you. See? And Jamie goes, you weren't even speaking Spanish.
I love that.
He's that dumb to know that he's taking the piss, but that's not what he picks up on.
I love that as well. Like the guy who they've cast as like the agent here, he's the right level of slime ball to be a football agent.
Yeah.
They are like
I agree.
The worst people on the planet.
I don't think he's a footballer. I think he's a talent agent.
No, he's a football agent because they bring in the talent agents.
Oh, yes,
that's right.
They do. And it's
Tracy.
A woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a woman, which will have annoyed fucking Jamie no end.
Yeah, she says, you have an amazing offer for a new reality show in Ibiza. Ibiza? Ibiza. Yeah, sorry. How do you feel about taking ecstasy every night for 3 straight weeks? And it's like, he just doesn't acknowledge her. He looks to Yuri and he says, you got to help me, man. He goes, Jamie, you know you're like a son to me. Now you're like a dead son, which means I love you even more. There's nothing I can do. Like, what?
See, and that is an American punchline, right? Right there.
Ted blasts into Sharon's office. He tries the typical Ted Lasso interest where he just bum rushes the door and he says, Ted Lasso, welcome wagon as a ride. And boy, she is immediately like, don't ever barge in my office like that again. What if someone had been in here? Like, man, that was not met with...
She isn't wrong.
She's not wrong.
She isn't wrong.
But this is how Ted gets along with people. Yeah.
Maybe also they should have put a sign on the door.
But again, Ted getting over familiar with people.
Yeah. This is Ted. This is how Ted is.
Not your friends. They are still the people you work with.
That's fair. He's brought her biscuits like he does with Rebecca. She says no, but she takes them anyway and takes a bite. She's like, I don't eat sugar. And he says, wow, really? I'd never thought I'd meet someone who doesn't eat sugar. Only heard about him, and they all live in this godless place called Santa Monica, which is a great line.
Yes.
She says, trust me, it's in everyone's best interest. In a past life, I would inhale a Cadbury's flake, talk nonsense for about an hour until I passed out. He says, I'm the same way with video games. It's something I really enjoy, but then I pretend that preventing myself from having them is somehow making my life better. But in reality, all it's doing is depriving me of something that makes me happy instead of attempting to adjust my relationship to it.
And ain't that some shit right there?
Yeah. Interesting. She just eyes him. And he's like, hey, what's your favorite book?
So before we get to the book part, can we just
Yeah.
roll back to the fact that Ted has just basically gone, I know what you are. I
Mm.
see what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see your weaknesses, and I know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm going to expose my weaknesses to you. We can be friends.
Yeah. That's
It is,
good.
again, it's just Ted's disarming technique of
It's-
going in with all guns blazing.
It's like Ted being vulnerable with people. It allows them to be vulnerable with him,
Mm.
and kind of like just it takes away like any kind of like awkwardness, doesn't it, between the person? But because obviously she's a psychologist and she's trained to like be able to read people better than Ted, she knows exactly what he's up to. He knows exactly what she's up to,
Mm.
and it's almost like that, like this weird stalemate.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He asked her what her favorite book is, and she says, "This is interesting." And he says, "What is that? My answer is the Fountainhead because I can explain." And she says, "This is your way of connecting with new people. It makes sense. It's very disarming." And they kind of leave it at that. And she says, "I want to observe training to see how it all functions." He agrees, and she returns the biscuit. She gives them back to him. But yeah, in that moment, it kind of felt like. Remember what I said for season 1 that I didn't really know going in if Ted was a real person or if he was just messing with people. This kind of goes back to that initial thought I had. Like, does he know that he's by disarming people, he doesn't give them the opportunity to not like him? You know what I mean? Like it's probably more connected than I'm giving it credit for.
I mean, do you want to hit pause on this because I can go deep into what this is. Like, it is. I think Ted may have. I'm not gonna. If you're not hitting pause, I'm not gonna go into it.
Well, give me the cliff notes.
I think Ted is kind of narcissistic in his approach to people, as in that. But also he has the best interests of other people at heart, and he discovered the fastest way to get to that is by making people like him. He wants to bring the best out of people, and what's the better way to do that is then to show yourself in a humble situation and then bring those people up from there. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah. I wouldn't call him a narcissist because narcissists don't care about anybody else. They don't have empathy for others. They only care about themselves.
But if you look at season 1, he didn't care. He wanted to bring the best out of those people. I'm not saying he's like a full-on narcissist, like in the classic form of it.
Yeah.
But it took Beard going, these are people who have money and like livelihoods on this. All of it up to that point seemed like a jolly for Ted. Like, it was a fun thing that he could do. And then as soon as Beard put that fear into him, we got more of a serious Ted. But with the introduction of Dr. Sharon, it's introduced a fear into him again. And so
like
now
he's got to look in the mirror and see himself for who he really is.
I mean, we had a lot of that in that, like, literally when the episode where he signs his divorce papers, he looks a lot in the mirror. Symbolism, possibly lazy, I don't know, but it's all there. I think they both at this point, I think they're both feeling each other out.
That's fair.
Ted knows what he is doing. Ted knows what he does works.
Yeah.
I rescind calling him like a narcissist because that makes him sound like a bad person. But
it keeps people at a distance. What he does keeps, yeah.
He has his friends and he has his people that he keeps close to him. But as the show goes on, this breaks down and everyone becomes a more rounded person because of Ted, including Ted himself.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I feel like I've been talking about 8 hours. Sorry.
what's good is that this thing that we know that if Ted gets too close to her, Ted knows that she's going to get through. That he's put this wall up around himself, and that he knows. I think it's one of the reasons he doesn't want her there. Like we said earlier, he's kind of afraid of getting too close, because if she gets through, she's going to be able to read him, and he doesn't want that. Which I get that, because the next scene when he's in Rebecca's office, Rebecca's going through the same thing. Rebecca also is kind of mocking the whole therapy thing, and she doesn't believe in it either. But you can see the way they're engaging with each other, that Rebecca could stand to talk to somebody that's professional and get her feelings out. And, you know,
it's very interesting. The two people who probably stand to benefit the most from a therapist are the two dismissing it the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Yeah. But I love this exchange. This scene with them back and forth is really, really good. But I don't want to discount what she and Higgins are talking about before, because he's in her office. Because again, Higgins doesn't have an office; he's gave it to the doctor, and it's really good.
This episode of Higgins just popping up.
Yeah, he's just random. Yeah, he's trying to find some place to work. And she mentions Caroline in ad sales is going through a breakup, and she's right next door. But he says, but she's right next door to Laughing Liam. And they both mock his laugh. And the relationship between her and Higgins is freaking great now. I know we said this before, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's, like, they're back on the same page. They're best buds. It's lovely.
Yeah. So good. That's when Ted comes in. Higgins is leaving with his box. And they have a little Zeppelin reference going back and forth here, which is really funny. Higgins pulls out a paper and says, "Hey, my name's Jimmy." Jimmy Paper? Oh, Page. And Ted's upset that he didn't get it, which is good. So yeah, that's when Ted
Plant as well, and he's like Robert Plant.
Yeah, yeah. Introduces the plant. Yeah. Ted gives Rebecca the biscuit. She sees the half-eaten one. She goes, "What's this?" And he says, "I gave him to the doctor, but she doesn't eat sugar." And Rebecca answers, "What a fucking asshole," which is a great line. And that's when...
How do you go through your day-to-day life not eating sugar? Like,
I guess anything's possible, but man, it's in everything. It's in everything.
I mean, like, not to be rude, but especially in America, like, isn't like corn syrup.
Yeah.
For high fructose corn syrup in like all of your food.
Oh yeah, it's in this ball of water right here. There's high fruit. No. Yeah, it's in everything. Yeah. It's true. We even have sugar in our sugar. Like it's
what?
Yeah. Look, I don't know how anyone would not eat sugar. I guess it's possible to cut it way down.
No, wait. Sorry, no, circle back around. Have you got sugar with extra sugar on it? What?
These are called jokes. It's all good. I'm messing with you.
Sorry. I don't know, because it's America and it's mental, isn't it? Like,
Man, I could have rode that bus. I could have kept riding that bus for 5 minutes.
How can we get more sugar into the sugar line? Okay, I don't know.
You just had the conversation.
We just roll it in some sugar.
These are corporate guys around a big table. How do we get more sugar into the sugar? Yeah.
It's like
we got to get them even more.
I feel like a fool for not picking
just getting people to have more sugar.
I love it. But yeah, the exchange between him and her is great, because they're both audibly, they're saying, "I don't need a therapist. You know, I can diagnose myself in a heartbeat." And they're both like, but they're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah, the hesitation.
Are you? And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." It's great.
Broken people screaming out for someone to yell at.
Yes. We here at Two Nations Under Ted highly endorse getting yourself some therapy. Don't laugh at it. I've been doing it for going on 3-4 years. It's done wonders for my mental health. I'm just here to tell you. So,
the one my doctor said to me, mental health isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Put that on a book jacket.
Yep.
That's great. Keeley's getting coffee. What?
But you might feel sad.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But also, go and speak to someone before you act out on those impulses.
Yeah, it's yeah. You got to take responsibility.
The way your brain treats you isn't your fault, but you have to do something about it.
It's true. Keely's getting coffee, and Jamie is watching her, trying to hide behind a rag. This is a very weird moment. He's like doing this, and he says, "I'm not stalking you." He says he's been following her for a few blocks, and he couldn't text her because he deleted her number. And he tells her what happened with Man City and everything, and then says, "I don't know what to do. When I think of talking, I think of you." And then he admits he's been following her for her entire lunch hour and he'd been trying to build the courage to say hi. And the only thing she took away from this whole back and forth was, "You deleted my number?" That's the only thing she took from it.
I love that. That's the most Keeley thing as well.
Yeah.
Not the fact that he's been slowly stalking her.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit that Jamie's been following her because she genuinely
didn't even notice.
She's just concerned about him at this point.
Didn't even notice there was a man dressed as rags just following her like a Scooby-Doo villain.
It's because he was wearing all black and had sunglasses on, mate. You can blend into anything if you dress like
that. Yeah.
It's easy. Yeah, I blend in all the time. You kidding me? We see a girls' team celebrating their cup win, but it's not Roy's team. And he's talking to his team, and he says, "You all played a hell of a game, but you lost. I want you to remember this feeling. Burn this moment into your brains." And the girls are just smiling at him. He says, "Good." And Phoebe says, "Is it time for trophies, Uncle Roy?" He goes, Yeah. Mrs. Bowen comes up and says, "Emily's mom bought everyone consolation trophies." Roy says, "Must be nice to just burn cash. Best dress. That's stupid. You're all wearing the same thing," which is awesome. He takes the box and throws it on the ground. "Just get amongst it.
Get amongst it.
Enjoy your trophies for winning nothing." And she stops him. It's great.
I love the fact, though, that the kids love it. Like, they think it's hilarious. And, like, the teacher's, like, going, "You can't talk to them like that. They are just kids."
Oh, mate, can you imagine if you were in, like, I don't even remember being in primary school, but I would remember if I had, like, just for 1 year, just a mad guy coming and going, "None of it fucking matters."
He says, he's
at the end of the year, just threw out a big box of trophies and went, "Grab one. That's yours now."
And they're excited to get them, too. They're happy to get them.
Kids love trophies, mate.
Hey, again, back to my kid. We put him in flag football. So I'm like the only parent out there who's not happy that his kid got a consolation trophy. So I felt Roy's pain. My wife is like, "Would you stop? It's just, they're little kids." And I'm like, "But they didn't win. I don't understand why they're getting trophies."
He doesn't deserve that.
Trophy. Yeah.
My idea was, what are we teaching them? Second place is okay. And I'm like, I'm not saying you got to step on people. I'm not saying you got to step on people, but I think if you're teaching people, it's okay if you don't win. I'm like, I don't know. I think I want to win. I'm just saying. That's me.
No, as long as you tried your hardest, the medal for just doing your best at second is fine.
I don't need a medal. A pat on the back. You guys played your hearts out. You guys made a great effort. Great. Don't give me a trophy for that.
Okay.
I won this for not doing anything. I kind of see where Roy's coming from.
No. I didn't say you didn't do anything. I'm saying
No. You know what I mean. Like, they don't give Academy Award runner-up a trophy. Like, you don't get
No, they just give him a bag full of, like, about £250,000 worth of prizes.
I was going to say cocaine, but that too. Yeah.
Probably cocaine as well.
Probably cocaine as well. Back to the show of Ted Lasso here. If it's possible.
I've had enough. This is unworkable. It's a hostile situation.
It's a hostile work environment, he says. Oh my God, that's great. I may have lost my place. No, I've got my place. It's all good. So Leann Bowen tells him, "Look, tough love never bothered me as long as I knew the coach gave a shit," which centers Roy back on the task at hand. And he goes to the team and he says, "Oi, it has been an honor coaching all of you. I do hope you'll come back and play next year, but only if you fucking mean it," which is great because the girls once again giggle.
The girls start like laughing. Love it.
They love it. They love him.
Love cranky Uncle Roy.
But Joe's right. If I'd had a guy like that coach me doing anything in school, I would never have forgotten that. That's a great little bit, man.
That was my point at the start of it, but here we are.
Yeah, well, you get distracted easily.
It's all my
Get
fault.
distracted. I'm just saying, squirrel, and it's boom. You know what I mean? So Roy goes to the house, and look, I remembered back when I saw this episode for the first time, because last time we saw Keeley, she was standing there with Jamie. Was I the only one thinking that Jamie's come back to her house and they're having sex upstairs?
There was a moment where I was like, oh, come on, Keeley, no. But then I thought, no. She's grown. Jamie's been away. She's seen Jamie. Like, even like if she hasn't been watching, like Roy's been watching it with the yoga mums. She would be aware of, just in the paper, of Jamie being humiliated on television.
Yeah.
There is no way that Keeley would be in bed with Jamie at this point.
And I was very glad she wasn't, because I was a little concerned. So I was glad to see that she wasn't. But he's explaining to her because he's thinking maybe she's in the next room or whatever. But the stuff he's saying is great. He says apparently 9-year-olds aren't allowed to do headers yet. Fucking brain development, which is a great throwaway line.
An ongoing problem with sports, I believe, is that you shouldn't be doing headers at all.
Yeah.
No. For sure.
It leads to blunt force trauma to the head, which makes people more violent. And
I mean, like you just gotta like think of how much your football weighs, and then think how hard football can kick it.
Again, not wanting to get all in there. In my day, we used to kick a casey around that was made of old ox livers sewed together, and then we used to put lead into it for ballast. Like,
I mean, they used to be much heavier, the footballs.
Oh, mate, the ones I used to play with in when they made me do sports in schools, were well heavy. The indoor ones, like, they were like being hit with, I don't know, like a panther being thrown at you.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were heavy.
That's what I equivalent that weight to. It's like someone throwing a full-size panther at you, side on.
I suppose, as I say, with the force of a player kicking that ball and you hitting it with your head, it's not going to be good for your head, not going to be good for your neck.
Although in season 1 we saw them all doing headers in that school.
Yeah.
I know. Maybe that's the global cabalist elite trying to make everyone stupid. So
again, the difference is it was like Roy just like
throwing the ball at them gently,
as opposed to like
Danny Rojas booting it at you at like 80 miles an hour. Yes, I know. I was being facetious for the sake of no comedy.
Sorry, mate.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Honestly, when he said headers, I wasn't thinking about the football. Oh, see what I almost did there? I was thinking of headbutting. Like, if the game gets out, you got to do what you got to do. Bam! You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so it's because he says one of the girls there had a goal disallowed because she scored a header.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
I believe it is like a 5-a-side rule. Nothing above shoulder height is allowed.
Yeah.
Well, the next scene, we know what happens. If you've seen the episode, you know that he goes into the room and Keeley's having some entertainment by herself with her own 2 hands. And
I've been waiting for this for weeks.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to see how Tom would describe this.
Well, we curse because they curse, but I'm not, Here's what I'll tell you. When I first saw this episode, I was disappointed by this because in my head I thought, oh man, I don't want this to become that kind of show. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be wholesome. It doesn't have to, I don't care. I didn't want this Because at the time, we didn't know what this show was going to become. We're season 2. We didn't know where it was headed.
Yeah,
but you guys know with the shows on streamers, sometimes you don't know what you're in for because you can do anything on streaming and no one cares. And some of it's flat out, I don't want to say porn, but it's close. And I'm like, man, I don't want that to become part of this show. It's one thing to talk about it, but I thought, you see what I'm saying? For me, it would have been like, I don't want that to be a part of this, you know?
But we get this kind of oddly lovely scene of Keeley, pleasuring herself.
There you go.
She's got headphones in. She doesn't see Roy come into the room we don't see nothing. It's all under the blankets, which is how I do it as well, in case Jesus sees me.
Jesus ain't watching. Trust me.
Oh, he's watching how I do it, mate.
You're gonna need.
Why is he a pervert? Is that what you're saying?
It takes 18 people to get involved.
Because you're gonna need to look away for a minute. Okay. I mean, is that what we're talking about?
A lot of people holding tarps.
You see, Tom took it to high road, and this guy takes the low road. You see what I'm saying? I kept it up here.
Isn't this like our whole thing? It's like you're the narrator. Jay's the sports guy, and I'm just like the wild card,
the loose cannon.
Cut the brakes.
Well, yeah.
Well, amongst this conversation.
Again, this leads to one of my favorite Roy scenes.
I love this scene, yeah.
Him coming in and not realizing, and because he's just been going through the house and he's just chatting and putting stuff away and like general day-to-day stuff. And he goes upstairs and he sees that Keeley's in bed and he realizes that she's having a fiddle. And he goes, no. He goes, hello. And she throws the phone away. No. And he goes, show me what you were doing. And it's his retirement. And we only get a snippet of this video.
He's blubbering.
But he is.
It's the fact that like she's like almost like not so much ashamed as like she's scared of how he's going to react. Because obviously she already knows how he feels about it.
But we've already had that conversation down the thing where he's already told her he hates being shown to be weak.
Yeah.
And we get like, he goes, she plays it back, and he goes, we get this incredible line from Roy, where he's like, I enjoy watching people fuck in the woods.
Because I wouldn't do it myself or something like that, isn't it?
I wouldn't do it myself. I haven't got the self-confidence.
I could never be that free.
Sorry. And it's just like, where is this? Like,
that's a great line.
It's just this weird thing of like her showing that she finds Roy being a human attractive, as opposed to like the robot he has made himself be. It is a really good scene. I'm not doing it the justice because we couldn't think of
Roy's retirement video is fantastic.
Yeah, because he's all upset.
Yeah.
He's very upset. He can't get his words out. I'm like, I want to see the whole video now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You do get like snippets of it here and there, don't you, throughout the series?
I'm assuming it exists somewhere in the full form. Yeah.
I imagine it would do, yeah. If it does, we should do a reaction video to it.
Oh, that would be nice. She tells him about running into Jamie, and he wants to come back to Richmond. He's lost his way like you have. And she says, I know you're not trying because, if you don't try, you won't get hurt, which is a great bit of, psychology. Talking about therapy, that's not bad at all.
All links in.
Yeah, it all links in.
Get hurt. That's Rebecca's attitude now, isn't it?
And it's true, yeah. He says, I'll do it, but when I hate it, I'm going to hire a group of children to follow you around screaming, I told you so, for centuries. And then he wanted to know he said, what did you tell the prince prick of all pricks? That's his cute nickname for Jamie from season 1. What you told her, and she said, you're talking to the wrong person. Ted's having dinner, that we know what's coming. Ted's having dinner in the Crown and Anchor. Jamie comes in, without speaking, sets the Green Army man down on the table. And he says, I named him after Ted Danson. Ted says, all-time great, from Cheers to Curb to the Good Place. What a career. I mean, he's basically the male version of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So then we have to go on a Ted rant for like 2 minutes.
I don't know if we knew this as well, but Norm from Cheers.
Yeah.
Is, I don't know whether we mentioned this in series 1, but Norm is Jason Sudeikis' uncle.
That makes a lot of sense because they do a Cheers reference in the show more than once.
They do, I think, in the first episode when he comes in for the cocktails.
And they do look similar.
But yeah, just fun.
They do, actually. Yeah, it's nice. That's a good pull. Jamie says, because he makes the reference to Julia Dreyfus, and Jamie says, who's like the female version of Dave Grohl? And Ted says, yeah, all three of them have that. They have that Midas touch, don't they? And then Jamie sits down, and it's, Jamie's having to, I'm not going to say lower himself. You're not lowering him yourself to ask for help. But for Jamie Tart, who thinks he's perfect and great at everything he does, you're having to humble yourself before this guy that you called names, you belittled to his face and behind his back, that you tried to ruin it for him, that you hated his guts and thought he was a clown. Now you're having to ask for your job back.
You had to have that whole practice speech act.
It's great, isn't it? Because Ted asks him how he is, and he goes, oh, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm smashing it. I'm really depressed. I need help. Straight, goes through the gamut of emotions, and it's just like, and Ted's like, what can I do? And I think
Ted sees the best in everyone. That's the thing.
I think the thing is Ted can kind of identify that just by giving Jamie a bit of time to talk, it's doing him more help than he realizes it's doing.
Yeah.
And even if I was going to say, even if he doesn't welcome him back to the team, it just Jamie having someone to actually talk to is all that he really wanted at that point in time.
That's fair. But he wants to come back, and he says, what are the chances? Ted's honest, and he says, you burn a lot of bridges over there. But Jamie says he needs Richmond. May comes up and says, Richmond needs you. And Jamie asks him to have the three at the end of the bar to stop staring at him. It's Baz, Jeremy, and Paul. First time in season 2 we see him. Adam Colborn, Bronson Webb, and Kevin KG Gary, respectively. May yells for them to fuck off, and they all turn around. They're like, okay, sorry, no problem. They all turn around. And Jamie says, wow, old people are so wise. They're like tall Yodas.
Tall Yodas.
What?
That's such a great line.
Ted asked, he said, why'd you do the reality show? And he said, you were getting good minutes up at Man City. He says, I thought it would be fun, help boost my brand. And then he admits he did it to piss off his dad. He was on him after every match, how he played, how many minutes he played, how he sat on the bench when he didn't play. Ted says, I've noticed that sometimes having a tough dad is exactly what drives certain fellas to become great at what they do. I hear Bono's father was a real piece of work, but then again, so was Joshua Tree, Just another great line.
It is one of those great just throwaway Ted lines, but
yeah.
I hate fucking you two, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a fan of you two.
I can't get into it. I've tried.
When they the thing they did with BB King is awesome. When Love Comes to Town, it was the only really great U2 song I really enjoyed. But they did it with BB King. It's a great song. But
I've also seen the footage of them on Irish TV covering Ramone songs and not saying that they were Ramone songs. So fuck them.
Well,
when they dropped a new album it uploaded to everyone's iPhone. That one album they put out, it was exclusively on iPhone. Everyone's iPhone got on iTunes, got it.
Yeah,
and
I think it was called Spoons or something.
Yeah, who cares? But within the hour, the most Googled question was, how do I remove the new U2 album from my iPhone? So everyone's like, I don't want this freaking album. Just remove it. So
It's taking up so much space of just Bono going, yeah, 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 yeah.
that's fair. Yeah, no, you're right.
As South Park say, he's the second biggest piece of shit in the universe.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Jamie asks, he says, was your old man like that as well? And Ted says, no, my father was a lot harder on himself than he ever was on anyone that ever was on him.
When Ted talks about his dad again, it's the same sort of thing of, like we were saying, like Ted does a lot of like deflecting, almost like he's so engrossed with helping other people, he doesn't take a moment to help himself sometimes.
Yeah. When
Jamie kind of turns at asking about his dad, you see it kind of like change in his mannerisms. Like he gets a bit more stoic and like almost like reflective at times. Like when he like sort of pauses and goes, he was a lot harder on himself than he was on me. And obviously we don't know the extent of that yet, but we will find out. And it's a very poignant moment.
It is. It's big. What's good is we see the three guys at the end of the bar and they're taking pics, and they're like, "Look, take a pic like they're sitting in my hand." So it looks like they're in their, they're in his hand. It's awesome because it plays back around. It goes back to the locker room. We see the guys, and Colin has the pic on his phone. Isaac says that's some bullshit. Colin believes this means that Jamie's coming back, and Danny says it looks like they're sitting in his hand. It's great.
This is something that does actually happen in football quite a lot, though, where there'll be talk of a player either coming in or moving to another club, and it'll unsettle the entire team. Thing with Liverpool, it happened a couple of weeks ago where Mo Salah, who's their like star player, was linked with a move, like a world record-breaking move away, and it unsettled the team a little bit, and there was talk of like them not being sure about whether he should play or not because of that. It happens a lot in football, and again, especially with Jamie, who was such a kind of like almost like a explosive like character in that dressing room, to then come in and you see it like with their reactions, like it instantly has unsettled the entire team, and they're all very like, there's a lot of like sort of like pent up aggression towards Ted that comes out in the next scene.
Yeah, because man, we get a version of Sam that we have never seen before, and this kid is not happy at all. And they're having just what we assume is regular training, regular practice, but Ted doesn't know that the photos have been posted of he and Jamie in the Crown and Anchor, and it's the guys believe that, you know, that he's coming back. So yeah, and actually this was the bit where he thinks that, you know, she's getting closer and closer to them. Yeah, so she meaning the doc, and Sam is not playing very much. He's not happy. You can tell he's upset. And they're aggressive. Beard notices that the team is a little bit more aggressive on their training than usual. And he blows up at Ted. And Ted's just trying to help. And he says, he gives him the Jimmy Buffett line. Jimmy Buffett, who we just recently lost, by the way. Yeah. He says, there ain't nothing going wrong. There ain't nothing going on out here on this field that I can do better than any of y'all. Unless you break into a game of finish that Jimmy Buffett lyric, then I'll be changing your latitudes and attitudes left to right and center. And Sam's not having it. He just storms off and he says, I'm just trying to help, Sam. Sam says, bullshit. And you can hear the guys go, ooh. Like, this is serious stuff, man.
Well, as well, because Dr. Sharon's watching.
Yeah, good call.
And Ted's immediate reaction is to go to her, oh, he's not normally like this, and like do like kind of damage control on it.
Because again, he doesn't want to be psychoanalyzed. He doesn't want the bad things to show. I mean, he's protecting himself, I guess. Yeah. Coach Beard says, I guess Sam doesn't like Jimmy Buffett. Nate goes, who's Jimmy Buffett? And Beard's like, really? He just looks at him.
It isn't a British thing at all.
Yeah, he's not.
That's fair. That's fair. Ted catches up to him. He gets the full dish about what's going on. And he admits to him that, he's asking about Jamie coming back. He believes that he is. He apologizes for cursing. And he says that he saw it on Twitter.
Sam being so Sam.
Yes.
I apologize for swearing. Yeah.
He's like, I can't believe you're bringing Jamie back to the team. Yeah.
And Ted literally says, no, I just met him in a pub. No, it's not on the cards. It's he literally says, don't believe what you see on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like Sam opening up to Ted shows why he's like when you look at like sports teams, a lot of coaches and managers will have like certain players who sort of like go around, or certain like coaches as well follow managers just from club to club. Like they'll sign a player who has played under them at like this club and go, oh yeah, that's exactly who I want to sign because they're one of my guys. And Sam's definitely like Ted's number one guy in the team at the moment. And it shows with like Sam sort of like opening up in the scene and kind of going like saying about how like his dad's really proud that Sam gets to work with someone like Ted because he knows he's got someone looking out for his best interests.
Yeah.
Is this where we get the thing about him squeezing his ear?
I can't remember.
I don't remember, but yeah, it's basically Sam going, I thought you were like with us, and then Ted basically goes, I am with you. Jamie's not.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
Yeah, he says he tells him he says every time my dad sees you on TV, he's very happy that I'm here. He says that I'm in safe hands with you. And Ted appreciates that, but then says, I got to make you run a bunch of laps, right? Sam says, I was hoping you would, which is nice.
No, Sam goes, yeah, it's like he knows he stepped out of line and he's awaiting his punishment.
He needs it. Yeah, he needs it.
Yeah. It's important. One of those just weird, beautiful things.
Yeah. It's important the guys
well, that is interesting because obviously, like, this scene's kind of what like sort of turns Ted on like changes Ted's mind about Jamie, I guess. Is that Sam's kind of like saying, how many locker room fights have we had since Jamie's gone? None.
Good.
No one's bullied me at this club like Jamie did. I do not want to see back and what the team do.
Yeah.
And it's like Sam's like the voice of the team in that point. Like it's kind of showing that Sam's like he's the vice captain now, isn't he? Isaac's the captain. He's the guy that Roy kind of like handpicked to follow his sort of like legacy. But then Sam's like the guy who's the second in command almost on the pitch.
It's true.
But as I say, he's Ted's like number one guy. He's the one who Ted kind of like knows if he's got Sam on board, he can get everyone else on board.
Yeah, I mean, what a moment. Like Sam, basically, like you said, saying that, no one's ever made me feel as bad about myself. What a line. Like, a grown man did that to you. You know what I mean? And intentionally, too. Not like accidentally or didn't mean to, or you don't get my sense of humor. No, he went out of his way to make Sam feel bad. And it worked. Like, Jamie was a real piece of shit, honestly. Let's be honest. This is the moment where we see Higgens behind a weight bench or at a weight bench. He says, very well handled. And he scared the crap out of Ted when he did it.
I love the fact that Higgens is just blending into the background in like various places within the club.
I rewound this bit a couple of times to see if he was there, and he was not there. But the shots. But
so Roy has agreed to do this football pundit thing. He's agreed to do this. He's in the makeup chair. And he says, what are you? Yeah, he says, what are you doing? And the woman says, sorry, what do you usually do with your lashes? He says, I leave them the fuck alone. Great line. Kidding.
I've had one time in my life where I've had someone do my makeup for me. And she went, what do you normally do? And I went, I don't know. I'm a man. I don't make me look more attractive. I don't know. It's a difficult thing. For Roy, this is even worse. Like,
Oh, yeah.
But then we also get like the best rollout of Roy beautifulness that we.
It's great. He comes out to Anarchy in the UK like a pro wrestler. He's got interest music going down the hall, which is really cool.
I swear to God, no one else gets. No, it's not. He doesn't. That's not his intro music. They just put that in there, like to make.
No, I know. I'm saying it's for the sake of. You're taking me way too literal.
No, because I was thinking, I don't remember him coming out to do that on Soccer AM. Yeah.
Oh no, but that'd be awesome. What else would Roy Kent the player come out to? That'd be great.
It's gonna be something like 1977. It's gonna be something like Sham 69. Boston Breakout, like that'd be good. Or just what's shit. So what? So what by the Anti-Nowhere League? Yeah.
So what would be a good one.
In fact, that's pretty much Brighton. That is literally Roy Kent's anthem.
That is absolutely.
There we go. We've solved that conundrum tonight.
I love that Keeley called him to give him like a pep talk and to give him. It's great, like to make him feel good about it or try to pump him up, and it's awesome.
That shows how much Keeley loves him,
how much faith she has in him as well, too,
and how much faith she has in him. And he's only doing this because she's kind of made him.
Yes. She says, since when do you care what people think? And she says, you're Roy fucking Kent, which is great. Great line.
It's that thing of like, you've got to play that fine line between pandering to Roy and also letting him know that he is Roy Kent. And Keeley has that down.
Yeah. We get to the set. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying the scene's great.
This scene is literally one of the funniest.
It's awesome. We get to the set, and remember, Coach Cartrick is back.
Have you watched? I don't know whether you get what hookup you've got for UK TV sports, but if you watch the halftime shows, it is literally like this. It's people. He could have done better in defense there, and like Roy literally annihilates it.
It's just Sky Sports News, isn't it?
It is Sky Sports News. Yeah.
So every Saturday, because I know like when you're watching, Tom, you've got the luxury of being able to watch the 3:00 kickoffs, which we're not allowed to in this country.
You gotta go through weird Turkish websites.
There's a weird law which was put in place in like the 60s, which means you can't broadcast like 3:00 kickoffs in the UK. It's to try and promote like ticket sales and stuff like that, but then people would still go to the matches regardless. But what they do instead is Sky Sports Soccer Saturday, which is what Roy's on.
Literally is.
This is literally it. So they'll just have different ex-footballers watching different games, and Jeff Stelling, he retired this year actually. He'd normally be the host, and he'd be like kind of like going between the players, going, "Oh, what's going on here?" And they're just like, other than that, they're just having a laugh and a joke and running down the scores.
Because easiest money in the world.
Yeah. And Chris Kamara, who's also on it, who also retired there last year because he got speech apraxia, so he couldn't broadcast anymore. He'd never be in the studio because his whole thing was he'd be going to matches and he was fucking useless.
The whole joke was that Chris Kamara was crap at his job.
Yeah, like there was a thing where he was at a game and they cut to him and he was stood there asleep, like he'd fallen asleep watching this match, and they were like, "Oh well, Cammy's asleep. We're gonna have to leave him." And
wow,
they come back to him 5 minutes later, and he went, "Don't know what happened there, lads."
I think someone's been sent off. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was another one where they like cut to him, and they went, and Chris Kamara, we've come to join you, and we believe there's been a goal at the such and such team. He goes, has there? I just turned.
Oh my god!
He turns around and goes,
Mate.
Oh yeah, they're celebrating over there.
Wow!
Literally, it's the lowest entry.
Yeah, the whole thing was he was really
so
bad at
you see why Roy Kent hates it now, because
yeah,
don't give a fuck about the sport. It's just people cling onto an element of desperation on their part, and we find out when Roy goes out there and does his bit.
Yeah, it's great. They're talking about the Chelsea game, and it's one of Roy's former clubs, and you know, he says, "What'd you think? Did your former club play well?" And he says, "No, I thought they played like shit." And Jeff's like, "Our apologies to the viewing audience. Roy Kent with some salty language. Will you care to elaborate, Roy?" All right, Chelsea was shit today. They were shocking. Watching them, you never know they were playing at home. They were too timid. They were too respectful of United. They were lucky they didn't lose by 3 or 4 or 10. He said, "That's harsh, Roy. United's been on a good run recently." Who gives a shit, Chris? That's no excuse to play like you're afraid of them. You could see it in their faces. Abject terror, like children waiting in line for the Handsy Father Christmas. Handsy Father Christmas. Have some fucking pride in your shirt, or don't fucking wear it. Which is great.
I love.
It's a beautiful thing.
I love the cutback between Keeley watching it, and she's got like a head in her hands. Like, oh no, Roy, what are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
It turns out, Roy, that's what he's got out for, isn't it? Salty.
It's great. It's perfect.
Roy Keane, who Roy Kent is based on, did pretty much the same thing, minus all the swearing.
He kind of choked it all back, didn't he, the coward?
Yeah, where he started getting him as a pundit, and he basically just says it as it is, and he's like, they'll have someone like Chris Kamara was in this scene who go, "Oh, but what about this? That's not fair." And he go, "Isn't it? I think they're not playing very well. I think they're going to lose by about 10 goals here," and stuff like that. And he's very antagonistic when he's like covering the football. This is very like faithful kind of rendition of what Roy Keane did when he
less swearing, but yes,
yeah, without the swearing.
We see the 3 guys in the pub. They're happy. They call him a legend. They say, "You're a fucking legend," and Paul says, "I appreciate his candor," which is great. Back in Ted's office, he offers Higgins a place with Nate. You know, the big office you mentioned earlier, Joe. Nate is physically and obviously not happy with this. There's another sign, and I'm like, I'm thinking it's an office. What do you care? But Higgins was here, but Higgins was here before you when you were the kit man. What do you care if he shares? You know what I mean? It felt weird, like.
It's domination. It's control of area.
Ego again, isn't it?
Ego.
It is ego, yeah. So he mentions bringing Jamie back because, and Bear's like, "I didn't think you wanted to do that." And he goes, I wasn't. But Sam's comment about his dad made me think of it. He said, "Isn't the idea of never give up one of them things we always talk about in sports? And shouldn't that apply to people too?" What do you guys think about this? Is he right? Does Jamie deserve a second chance?
I think Higgins has got the right response to this. Like, someone who's got the raw talent of Jamie Tartt should be given the opportunity to be in the team because he is going to improve it.
Question, Jay. Would someone of Jamie Tartt's caliber be left hanging?
It all just depends on like what he done to kind of be in the situation in the first place. With Jamie, like in the show, obviously he's left arguably the biggest club, and certainly the biggest club in the country, arguably the biggest club in Europe, to go on a reality TV show. he wouldn't struggle to find another team, but he'd certainly. It all depends on. So obviously they mention like no one wants to take you in the Premier League. Germany and Spain don't either. So Jamie's obviously setting his sights high. And I think that's what's more playing into it, because obviously there are a lot of teams like Richmond and a lot of teams in the Championship would bite his hand off. But
okay,
it's all kind of part of like the metaphor of like Jamie having to kind of like
it's Jamie's redemption.
Yeah, to sink down to the level that Richmond have fell to then come back up as like the elite player everyone knows he is.
Well, again, finishing it off, Tom.
Well, what's funny is, like, to your point, Jay, Higgins is the only one that votes yes. To bring it back, Nate votes no, Beard votes no. And, you know, at this point, watching it back, I remember thinking they won't do this. They got, you know, Ted will go with the good of the group, and, you know, it is what it is, right? I didn't think it was actually going to happen watching it through the first time. During all this, though, Keeley gets an email. Sky Sports is happy with Roy. They'd love to have him back. Roy comes in, and Keeley says, you don't have to do it anymore. He takes her phone, brings up the retirement press conference, and then, bam, things begin to happen south of the border.
Roy plays his own retirement video back to her before he does it. And, like, he knows that Keeley has his best interest at heart at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Ted is leaving, and Sharon thanks him for letting her watch the training that most coaches get conspiratorial at the notion of it. I'm so glad I got that word without screwing it up. Ted says, most of my conspiracies revolve around the Freemasons on account of a couple different Disney cartoons I watched a bunch as a kid. To the last moment, they get a joke in. It's great. The dog's going to email her takeaways to Ted. And Ted would rather have the truth right in front of her. And she says, look, you know, the environment's great. The employees are thoughtful, and they're kind and actually listen to each other. And he says, so have we got a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it situation? And she says, well, do you call being winless with 8 straight draws ain't broke? And she says, heavy is the head that wears the visor, Coach Lasso. You must have a lot on your mind.
Oh, that.
Great line.
Really good.
Great line.
Really good. She goes to leave, and he accidentally calls her Doc again. She says, it's okay. You can call me that. And then she says, Prince of Tides is her favorite book. So he may have gotten the Doc here. We're not sure, but he's made steps to getting the Doc.
He's got his hooks in.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that she's recognized that that's the way to get Ted to open up?
Oh, very good.
Because there was the whole thing of like the mental chess at the start of the episode when they were both in the office and he was trying to like have the Ted icebreaker thing. She's obviously realized the way to get Ted to kind of like open up to her is to meet him in the middle with her.
I agree with that.
As an opposing thing, has she realized that this is how Ted operates and it's easy to just go through this, get through it, get the payday, walk away? At this point, she's not invested in Ted at all.
She's not invested in Ted, but she seems to be.
She's doing her job. She is going in, talking to all these
I was going to say
who
she
have
seems to
very
be
very limited problems of, ex-Premiership footballers. I've run out of Johnnies. There is too many Brazilian models in my shower at any one given time.
She seems very professional, though, so I'd be inclined to say it's more towards the fact that she realizes that Ted has his own issues as well.
I know. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate.
I know.
The next day on the pitch, the unthinkable happens with the return of a certain ex-player. We get snow, which is the first time we've gotten snow. We've seen characters wearing, sort of heavier jackets and whatnot, but we're getting snow now. Keeley tells Rebecca that Sam is doing some press for Dubai Air, and she's very happy with this. So another tiny little seed planted, perhaps. when the doc comes in, Rebecca had sent her a gift basket of bottled water because she doesn't eat sugar. Keeley's like, there's so many other things that don't have sugar in them, which is a bottled water basket, which is great.
I know, but I would struggle. What doesn't have sugar in?
Fruit.
Fruit has natural sugar.
Yeah, natural sugar, but it doesn't have actual sugar.
She's
That's
never
true.
said she was that. I would just give her a broom.
I'd probably just give her
Just a broom.
She is talking to Higgins. Higgins is not responding. He's at the window. And we hear Tear It Up by Queen is playing. By the way, perfect for this. For whatever reason, it fits.
Yeah, it's lovely.
The way this scene's shot is fantastic with the whole...
Fantastic.
The whole, like, you see Higgins go to the window while they're having, like, the seemingly meaningless conversation.
Mm.
And then when it's only when, like, you see, like, he's not responding, and it's like, oh, shit, what's going on?
Mm.
And it's...
Yeah.
Obviously, Jamie comes out the tunnel, and it goes straight away to Isaac, who's looking furious, and Sam, who's looking
Hurt.
heartbroken.
Yeah, and he's staring straight at Ted. He's not looking at Jamie. He's looking at Ted.
And Ted can't look at him.
Yep.
Because, again, he's Sam's his guy. And Ted's almost betrayed him. I mean, it's one of those things. I think Ted can probably justify it to him, but at the same time, in that moment in time, it's like Ted's just stuck a knife in his back.
He has.
I think of 2 days ago, he said, no, Jamie's never coming back.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, there's Jamie Tatt coming running out the tunnel to Queen.
So Jamie is back, and I'm going to tell you something. If I'm being honest, we know how it ends. We know how we got the story. They finished the story. However, at the time, during the first pass, I thought, this is a bad idea. I didn't think Jamie had it in him to reconcile, to redeem himself. I thought, you've betrayed the team, like you said, to Sam. This is a bad move. Upon first watch, I was willing to give it a chance, but I thought, you've ruined it for now, you know?
I think
rewatching it now,
when
they did the burning barrel, Jamie was 100% on board, and it was only Rebecca sending him away that stopped him getting right into Ted's line of fire.
That's fair.
Hence the little man that Beard gave him.
But it's interesting because the only person that Jamie didn't properly really reconcile with during that was Sam.
Mm.
Yeah.
And obviously Sam's kind of like the glue that's going to hold this all together once like they kind of get Jamie like integrated back in the team. But I think as well the one like kind of weapon Ted as in his arsenal that he didn't have previously is Dr. Sharon, who is obviously going to help with that massively. And yeah, but it's certainly, if she wasn't there, it would certainly tear the team apart. Yeah,
dude, that's a great call. That the fact that she's there maybe offsets. Yeah, it offsets some of that. That's a good call. Well, kids, guess what? Episode 2, season 2 is in the books. We are officially done with it. It took us 9.5 hours, but we got it done. It's not a problem. Look, we never promised you just 30 minutes. We never said just 30 minutes. Yeah, you don't know the chaos and terror that Jay caused behind the scenes. I'm not even going to get into it right now.
He's running around with no pants on for a while.
It's a proper villaon.
We had to pause.
Calm him down during that thing of the sun's getting low in the sky, big guy.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah. Through the internet, I don't even know how that works, but
that's great.
I only came here for the zip line today.
You just earned all my respect back with that Marvel line, that reference. All my respect has been earned back.
Oh,
there you go. Because I'd lost it all for you. It was gone. It was gone. Poof. Guys, do we have takeaways from this, or are we done? Do we have takeaways, or are we done? What do you think? Joe, let's start with you.
No, I don't think there's. I think it just all leads. Like, there isn't a lot to take away from now going forward because everything feeds lovely into the next episode. There's nice little feeds into from the previous, but everything is now like a proper show where each episode feeds into the next episode with very little. Although looking at the next episodes, there is some blockage.
Yeah. What do you think, Jay?
The best kind of blockage, but
yeah. Yeah, I think the first 2 episodes of the season kind of did a lot of like setting the groundwork for what is going to happen. And I think Jamie coming back into the team at the end of this episode, it gives kind of not an antagonist, but it gives an issue that obviously needs to be resolved, which is what you need to kind of like move a show like this along. There needs to be something like in the first series. Obviously, it was Rebecca's trying to kill the club. This is now kind of, at least for the next couple of episodes, this is right. We need to get Jamie on the same page with everyone on the team, and Ted needs to win back the players' trust at the same time. How do we get there?
Yeah.
And coming up, we've got 2 really good episodes.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't caught them yet, but I'm going to catch them. Again, I'm resisting temptation to skip ahead because I want to experience them again in real time. So, well, kids, we hope you've enjoyed this. This has been, oh my gosh, episode 2, season 2. I still can't believe we're here all this way, man. It seems like we just started to some degree, but again, we hope you're enjoying the show. Hope you're enjoying the episodes. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing and downloading and following. Please check us out on all of our socials at 2 Nations Pod. As you can see on the ticker, we're everywhere. Please go check us out. Give us a follow. We'll follow you back. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. Thanks for following the show. We appreciate you. Remember, spread the word about 2 Nations because there may be some merch coming soon. We haven't revealed that yet, but hey, could be on the way. That's it for us, kids. We appreciate your business. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. For Joe, for Jay, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.